Hey everyone, I'm Albert, and today we're going to be comparing policy debate to public speaking. The first thing that we have to note is that the audience and the goal are different. So in policy debate, your goal is to win arguments, whereas in public speaking, your goal is to spread change and promote awareness, or flip of that. And the judge's role in a policy debate, because you're trying to win an argument, is to weigh the competing arguments. Whereas inside of a public speaking setting, your judge's role is really just there to listen and learn. This is important because this has implications on how you write your speech and the structure of your speech and what you include in your speech itself. We'll go over this in the next slides. So in the structure of the speech, a policy debate is focused on having a contention level structure. You have your inherency, you have your plan text, and your advantages. To public speaking, that's all jargon. Keep in mind that your audience, once again, is a judge, a layperson who is not familiar with the kind of jargon. So instead, you're going to have an introduction, body paragraphs, and a conclusion similar to any high school essay. In the introduction level, in a policy debate, you actually aren't going to have a formal introduction. Whereas in a public speaking, you will have a formal introduction. This is important because in a public speaking setting, your goal is to try to get them engaged in your topic. Whereas in a policy debate setting, you can assume that your judge is naturally going to weigh your arguments at the end. This once again goes back to the fact that your audience is different and your goal is different. And that's why you have to include a formal introduction inside of a public speaking setting. Now, when it comes to contentions, so contentions for policy debate or a main body paragraph for public speaking, that in policy, that contentions are labeled by jargon, that we always go like, our contention one is inherency, our contention two is the plain text, our contention three is advantages. Whereas in public speaking, you do not say my first contention is. Instead, you present your body paragraphs that you can start by saying, my first argument is that, and provide your claim, but you cannot label them with jargon. And this, once again, is keeping in mind that your audience is really just lay people who are trying to learn and they're trying to be inspired by high school and middle speakers that are passionate about a content, about a certain topic. And this also applies to the conclusion. So apply the same analysis on the introduction to the conclusion. That in policy debate, you don't really need a formal conclusion. You just end with your impacts. Whereas in public speaking, you do need a formal conclusion. This is because the conclusion functions in a public speech to just function as, if you weren't paying attention to the speech at all, here's what you should get out of this speech. And so it's like that last minute type of thing where it's like, if you weren't paying attention, here's what you should get. When it comes to flow, a policy debate has a physical flow paper that your judge should be taking notes as you read. And that's because you provide them these transitions that are jargon, like continue one, subpoint A, subpoint B. Whereas in public speaking, you don't get to use that jargon. Instead, you have to create a certain flow in your judge's minds organically. So they aren't expected to be physically note taking. So that means that you have to use explicit transitions. So you have to be like, next, or for example, or my next argument, or furthermore, conclusion. Those sorts of transitions have to be used in public speaking, whereas in policy debate, they're kind of just implied by jargon. And some other considerations between policy debate is that policy debate is really just a compilation of evidence, warrants, and impacts. It's not really your words. Whereas in a public speech, all of the speech should be your words. It should be your writing. The experts and statistics that you cite are there to back your claims. And this is where voice and style come in, that you have a voice inside of public speaking, and your goal in public speaking is to share your voice and use your voice to empower your audience. And that style is there to engage your audience. Overall, this is the difference between public speaking and policy debate, and hopefully that sheds light on how you write your speech and what you do during your speech. Thanks everyone and good luck.